like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We up in this thing representing the Sports Coma, the great Saint think tank, man. What's popping with the fam, man? Good to see y'all in the stream, man. Big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all stopping by for this episode of the Coma. We up in this thing, man, and there's some stuff we're gonna cover on this episode of the Coma. We're gonna go over a few things, some observations from today's camp, man. I appreciate y'all guys stopping by. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and also please feel free to share the show stream on your social media feed. We in this thing, man, and listen, we're gonna do some reacting to some of the interviews. It's about 4 or 5 of them I want to say that came out today with the black and gold. There was also some stuff happening in the final days of OTAs, man, as the Saints get ready to move to the mandatory practices that are be coming up next week. So you'll see guys like Lattimore. You'll see some of the guys that you hadn't seen, Elvin Kamara's. You should see them in the mandatory sessions coming up next week. So a lot of people are watching some of the obvious stuff, you know, that's going on in terms of the players they're interested in. It's a lot of, much to do about Spencer Rattler. And I think a lot of that is just the fact that a lot of the Who Dat base is not in totally, really excited about Derek Carr. And I think that's what it is. They're kind of looking past him. It's a very unique phenomenon, man. But, whatever floats your boat. So big ups to the fam. Good to see you. OG Jerry is in this thing as well. Good to see you. Tuck was popping, fam. Clint, good to see you, fam. Pelicans, Nola, Young City 9. WB3 was popping, brother. Good to see you in there. Brother Gundam is in this thing as well. And it's we appreciate you, man, for being here. Tuck says, Q fam, showing up for the OTA chat. You don't have to be here. It's not in your account. Yeah, you're right. All right, what's up, David? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you for being here, man. Much love, Trap Star. How you doing, fam? Appreciate all y'all, man. Everybody for being up in this thing and representing the Coma. Tim, I see you, fam. Uncle Deuce, what's popping, bro? He said, what's good, Q, finally catching it live. All right, appreciate you being here, man. BJ9 was popping, fam. Appreciate you. Brother Trey always representing. Thomas up in this thing, man. Much love to all y'all. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Now, like I said, shout out to Saints News Network. Big ups to my brother, Kyle T. Mosley, as his people are had some OTA sessions, man. I'm going to go over with you just a few of them before we just hop into some of these reactions. Dennis Allen, Chris Olave, Carl Granderson, Jamal Williams, and Isaiah Foskey, the Snowman. So, I mean, we have some of those guys. We're going to go over some of their interviews and go from there. Josh, big ups to you. Brother Devin, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. Corey, Jeremiah in this thing as well. Dr. Key, what's happening, Dr. Key? Appreciate you, fam, as well. So, like I said, man, it's some interesting things happen there, man. And like I said, still very early on. So, being that, we've seen so many of these OTAs over the years, you're looking at it and you're trying to find out, what do you guys see, or what do you see that you can see what the Saints are pretty much lashing on. And from what I watch when I watch these OTA practice sessions, is pretty much because it's not any hitting going on. There's no shoulder pads, no gear, just the shells, helmets, and just guys running around. Not a lot, but it's still the excitement, or it's just the NFL. Want to see what guys, or how what certain guys are looking like. Are they healthy? Are they in tune with the coaching staff wants them to do? And I think the biggest emphasis this offseason is just looking out to see, what the offense brain trust, what they're looking like, what's going to happen with those guys. Are they going to have a tight ship? And once again, I listened to what Dennis Allen said, some of his stuff early on today, and he's talking like the great Saint think tank. It's amazing. He wasn't talking like that before, but all of a sudden he's talking just like you guys are, mentioning things like attention to detail and accountability. Oh my God. Can you believe it? It's a freaking miracle, right? But it's fantastic, man. Regardless or not, man, I'm just glad that we finally got these people on code. Thank you. Now maybe we could see some righteous football now. A shout out to you, brother Derek. Good to see you. Eugene, how you doing, fam? Much love as well. And yes, interesting to see how Fuaga doing. And according to a lot of reports, Fuaga and Trevor Penning are doing fine. Who would have known it? Who would have guessed it that Penning would do okay at the right tackle position? Who would have guessed it? Well, I mean, it's just y'all know what time it is. Yeah, Dennis Al, that's right, Gundam. Accountability and attention to details, all magical words that we said at just freaking nauseum here over and over again. You cannot win anything in life at all if you don't have accountability and attention to detail. You will not succeed, not in a very long way. Like, that's the difference between the short race and the long race. Attention to detail is knowing your business and handling it. Stand on code with the plan that you set up for the duration. I know that sounds easy, but it's a certain level of difficulty to it. That people, when you set a plan or a course of action, that sometimes people get distracted. Life comes along and pushes them off of it, which is fine, but get your ass up and get back on that pad and continue to do what you was put here to do. So like I said, first thing is to find out what that is. And the next thing is to stay on the path, regardless of what wind blows or people come along and knock you or nudge you. Remember to stay on course and you shall win, baby, every time. It sounds simple, but man, it really is simple. Thought wise, action wise, it's a degree of difficulty. But I'm proud of the Saints, man, and Dennis Allen in particular, for just sounding like that. That will make a world of difference in the team, because that's what you need to win these games. Anyway, let's go over some of this stuff, fam. I'm gonna go over this stuff and I'm gonna play some of the clips here. But like I said, shout out to my guy Kyle T. Mosley at the Saints News Network. His writers came through with the observations, and I'm gonna kind of go ahead and read these things as I hit you with some of the highlights as a plan. And this is John Hendricks that was dropping the scoop on it, talking about the practice sessions here. And of course, these are rounding out for the last days of OTAs before the mandatory stuff kick in. And the attendance was not a ton change. Tyrann Mathieu was one of the new absences. Dennis Allen said it was family related. Also not spotted was Stanley Morgan Jr., Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, Kool-Aid McKinstry. We already know he's dealing with coming back up from that injury. Elvin Kamara, Nephi Sewell, who's also rehabbing. Nathan Latu, Ryan Ramczyk, Tommy Hodson, Passanio, which we know he's done pretty much the year. Chase Young's also rehabbing from that surgery as well. And several players were spotted in locker room practice. Mark Evans was present but didn't practice, and Jalen Ford was walking on the sideline. All right, so like we said, the OTAs are voluntary, so those guys will be there next week. So we're not tripping on none of that stuff. And of course, they talk about the offensive line from left to right. It was Fuaga, Nick DeVary, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Trevor Penning from left to right. The second unit was Heron, Shane Lemieux, Lucas Patrick, Nori Nueli, and Landon Young. Dallin Halker he continues to run with the first team. So Dallin Halker, who was the tight end that we've seen a lot of, like I call him, kind of have a young Jeremy Shockey look. His style, not what he's going to be. We'd be so fortunate to have that. But he ran with the first team today. Has a very interesting skill set, big tight end with some athletic ability, can catch the football. So he was running with the first team. All right, so without Alvin Kamara in the mix, Jordan Mims, the veteran running back, got some looks. And then on the defensive side, Saints rolled out a base look today. The defensive line continued to be the same with Carl Granderson, Colin Saunders, Kendall Vickers, Peyton Turner. And then Willie Gay, DeMario, and Pete Werner played the linebacker positions, cornerbacks with Alante Taylor, Shamar Jean Charles on the outside with Jonathan Abrams and Will Harris playing the safety positions. Now the quarterbacks always the spotlighted positions. Derek Carr, Jake Haener, Nate Peterman, and Spencer Rattler all got some reps there. Derek Carr went 4 from 8. He had 2 touchdowns in the pick today. Jake Haener was 5 of 7 for 5 of 7. He was 3 and 3 in the sevens. He had a touchdown. Nathan Peterman was 1 of 2. He had a pick. Spencer Rattler was 3 of 4, and he had a touchdown throw today in the matchup. So also, it talked about some of the stuff that happened on with that, and the fact that Alante Taylor had a couple of pass breakups. He did pretty well and pretty decent there. He was trying to connect with A.T. Perry over the middle of the field. That didn't work out. And then in the final period of red zone, there was an interception happened with Demario Davis. On that play, Isaiah Foskey, the snowman, brought some pressure and would have likely been a sack on the play. And however, the play continued. Where Carr made it up for the next play by finding Michael Jacobson in the back of the end zone against Alante Taylor. We talked about Haener's pass and all that kind of stuff. And it was just what it is. Nathan Peterman didn't look like what he was popping today. Not all that from Nathan Peterman. He got many supporters. And of course, Spencer Rattler is a guy that a lot of people have interest in because they see Spencer Rattler as the future. And you could be right on that. Spencer Rattler is a guy that definitely could be a guy that is, in my opinion, he is definitely somebody, unless everybody gets moved out and another quarterback, offensive coordinator comes in, and the whole process starts all over again. So hopefully that's not the case in terms of that, because I would rather see the Saints successful. I want to see him win, and finally it took a long time for some hard heads to get some sense, but I think we might have the right collection of people. Now Spencer Rattler hit his first 2 passes with a nice connection to Mason Tipton on the dig route for an immediate gain, and then Kendre Miller in the flats for a short connection. The next pass was a nice throw deep down the right sideline to a wide open Kyle Sheets, but ended up dropping it. And in the red zone, he didn't get any throws. His long throw in a team was a touchdown to Cedric Wilson Jr. in the back of the end zone on the play action, with Millard Bradford being the closest defender. It was a nice throw by Rattler and a good hookup. The Saints were working the 12s, 10s, 5s, and the 2-yard lines, running that thing. And then, of course, Trajan Jeffcoat was really putting on the effort in today's practice session. He had tackles for the loss. He had a middle of the face pressure right up the middle. Him and Isaiah Foskey in the final play saw him kind of keep again some more pressure. Jack Heflin and Christian Boyd putting in some work there. And of course, they talk about the Taysom train, which is also very interesting because a lot of we see Taysom Hill, literally they're reshaping Taysom Hill into a running back, that's his strongest skill set, right? Don't know if you've seen this, but the Taysom Hill element to the Saints offense has major potential today. They saw him being used as a halfback more and more. He had 3 plays where he was a running back and took tosses from the left and the right side. Adam Prentice was his lead blocker, then Dalen Hawker. And he was even a single back on one of the reps. And New Orleans is using a lot of motion involving Hill, including that speed motion that would surely confuse some defenses. This could really, really get fun fast. So, but a lot of the Taysom Hill stuff is happening now. They're getting them some reps right there. You expect, Alvin Kamara to get involved and get more and more into that situation. But that's a smart move to do by Taysom Hill. It can be used in many different applications. If you're using them as a running back, I mean, like I said, when he played a scrambling quarterback, and most of the times he got all this yardage from running the ball, he would run against these 8-men fronts and still average 5 yards a game. It was really ridiculous what Taysom Hill was doing. And then you put him as a running back, you can only imagine what he can do. Could you imagine? Could Taysom Hill get 1,000 yards rushing for you? Could you imagine, right? I know we got Kendra Miller. Could you imagine an Elvin Kamara and Taysom Hill running back? Could you imagine the craziness of this? All right. Also on the radar, Trajan Jeffcoat was one of the most noticeable players on the field during the team drills and in the red zone. He was responsible for a couple of pressures and tackles for a loss. He put together 3 consecutive impact plays. He was getting work with the second team. It could be someone to keep an eye out with passing out of the mix. So this is true. A lot of young defensive tackles rather have an opportunity to step up. With passing having that issue, he's pretty much done for the rest of the season, even though Dennis Allen said he could come back later on in the season. But guys like Christian Boyd, guys like what's the guy? Jeff I just had his damn name. Man, what's the damn guy name? I forgot, the other defensive tackle that we talk about a lot here, the undrafted guy. Maybe perhaps he could step up and do some positive stuff for the Saints as well. So I mean, the way I feel about it is, yeah, you got Kendall Vickers, who's another guy that they brought in. I forgot the other guy's name. Y'all remind me in the chat who's the other defensive tackle. But our backup defensive tackles have an opportunity to step up and show what they can do with passing y'all. And then, of course, as we get closer to training camp, I expect the Saints to probably more than likely add somebody, maybe a cheaper defensive tackle into the mix, just to see what's popping with that. All right. So anyway, let's keep this thing going, man. All right. Then, of course, the quick hits. Chris Olave was in the red 9-contact jersey when entering the 7-on-7s. He tweaked the shoulder issue. He'll talk about that in the injury. Dennis Allen said a number of things about a number of different players. I'm not going to go through all that stuff. We're going to play his interview and react to it live. And it was some positive stuff going on with a lot of the players today. And like you said, it's still early on. We're still trying to get the feel of what's really going on with some of these people. But in the end, man, he talked about the kicking game and the fact that Lou Hetley stepping his game up. He's showing some really impressive punting rather, that guy going on. Smith, who's the undrafted guy that we brought in to compete with Blake Grupe, didn't have a good day kicking the ball, but it's okay. We still have an opportunity to see more of these players as we get closer and closer we get closer to the practices, getting closer and closer to training camp, man. So a lot of stuff going on there. So we're going to keep an eye out on all this stuff. But outside of that, man, just a very solid day of things that happen at training camp, not training camp, but at OTAs right now for the black and gold. And then it's just some positive stuff. We just make sure everybody gets out of there healthy, get some good reps going, get some familiarity with the system. And like I said, next week, we'll start seeing a lot of these guys pop in here. And the guys I'm talking about is like some of our main guys as they turn it up. So like I said, it's the June the 3rd to the 6th, and then June 11 to 13, where those are the voluntary ones. So you got to be there, so we'll see how it all looks, man. I expect all those guys to show it. But anyway, let's get right to the reaction to the live interviews. We'll start off with Dennis Allen, followed by Chris Olave. So here's Dennis Allen on today's show.
Worked today, worked a lot of red zone down there in the scoring zone, and I thought both sides of the ball had some plays, both sides of the ball executed some things, and I think it's been, good work.
Yeah, when you're going through a practice, how do you decide what to correct on the field and what to wait for in the film room?
Well, look, here's the reality. When you're standing on the sideline, you don't see every single thing that happens, on the field of play. And so, you're really trying to correct the things that you specifically see. And every coach has their eyes trained to look at, in a certain area. And then obviously as a head coach, you're kind of overseeing the whole thing. So, but yeah, I think, as a base rule, if we see it, then I think, instant corrections, instant feedback is the best way to teach.
That's what was Chris in the red jersey doing?
So he kind of tweaked his shoulder in the weight room a couple of weeks ago, and so we're just making sure that he doesn't get bumped in any form or fashion.
Was Tyron's absence
voluntary or wellness?
He's been dealing.
A couple of weeks ago. Is that what Dennis Allen said? Let me a little bit. He said a couple weeks ago. He tweaked it.
Making sure that he doesn't get bumped in any form or fashion. The best way to teach.
And what was Chris in the red jersey doing?
So he kind of tweaked his shoulder in the weight room a couple of weeks ago, and so we're just making sure that he doesn't get bumped in any form or fashion.
Was Tyron's absence voluntary or wellness?
He's been dealing with some family stuff. Look, I mean, I'm not going to go through everybody that's here or not here. I would say that there's some guys that are not here due to injury. There's some guys that are here that are not here due to some personal issues. There's some guys that are, not here due to their, own personal choice. We're going to focus on the guys that are here, get the guys that are here, get them better as much as we possibly can during this, important time in the development of our team. And then, look, next week we've got mandatory minicamp. My expectation is that everybody will be here for mandatory minicamp, and then we'll kind of go from there.
What's the transition like then from this week to next week? Is there anything different? Do you ramp it up a little bit in camp? Or?
Yeah, look, we, based on the rules, the tempo and all that stuff is the same. We're allowed to be on the field a little bit longer, so we'll probably have a little bit more work out here on the field. Not a lot more, but a little bit more work out here on the field. And we get more time during the day, so we'll have, a few other house cleaning items that we'll take care of, during this time, so that we get a lot of the mandatory things done before we break, so we don't have to worry about dealing with that during training camp.
Everyone for minicamp, that includes Marshawn.
That would be my expectation.
Dennis, now that you've seen the team kind of get a chance to work in the offense a little bit, how do you think that the transition is going to be?
Yeah, look, I think every day, we're making a little bit of progress, and I think that's what's important right now. What's important right now is that we come out here, we get a chance to meet on it, install it, we get a chance to work it, we get a chance to go back in and make the corrections, and then the next time we get to that, hopefully we're not making the same mistakes that we made, in the previous practice. And that's really, the basis of how we teach, and we're trying to eliminate repeat mistake offenders. So now go ahead.
Sorry. So what have you?
That's new. Trying to eliminate repeat mistake defenders. Is that what he said? Big ups to the fan. Appreciate y'all here, man. Black Major, JT, Hindi and Newton, Brother Wallace in this thing as well. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Much love to you guys, man. I see you, fam. Quavadia, shout out to you, man. Skylife, much love. Who that to you guys? Appreciate you for being here, man. As we kind of reacting to Dennis Allen, here we go.
Noticed with that, with Spencer Rattler, he had a couple interceptions the first few sessions.
Yeah. Look, I mean, part of it out here during this time, and even in training camp, is figuring out what you can do and what you can't do, right? And if I never take a chance,
shout out, my brother,
then I never really know what I can or can't do, in our league. And I think you find out here that the windows close a little bit faster than they do in college. And so it's all part of the learning curve. And so, look, I'm encouraged by what I see out of him. And certainly, there's a lot of improvement left to be had, but I think he's making some good progress.
Dennis, what about, it seems like his leg's strong with Lou Headley, the way he's been punting, and obviously our coverage units are outstanding, but is it more trying to increase the net?
Yeah, look, I think a couple of things. I think the way that we punted the football last year, we eliminated a lot of return yards. And the less return opportunities you give the other team, the less opportunity they have to create big returns. And I think probably the biggest difference, and the thing that we looked at that, man, we've got to try to when we really need to flip the field, all right, we need to be able to flip the field. And so I think that was a point of emphasis for Lou, during the off season. And I think we're seeing some of the fruits of that labor out here throughout these OTAs.
Dennis, a few guys have said your early message to the team this offseason was kind of just keep your head down and work. Don't worry about anything outside the building, expectations. I mean, can you kind of expand on that? What was your message to them about that?
Well, look, here's the deal. You don't control anything that goes outside of this building. You really only control what we're doing inside the building. And really the message was, let's don't worry about what the results are going to be. Let's just worry about the process, because the results take care of themselves if you put the work in. And that's really where our focus has been. And I think our guys have done a pretty good job of, minimizing distractions, focusing on the task at hand here while we're in the building, and taking advantage of these opportunities to get better.
Do you think, Coach, is that something you're always dealing with, noise?
Yeah, look, everybody has an opinion on everything, and everybody has the ability to make their opinion public, and that's never going to change. And so nobody has any control over what the outside opinion is, or how they choose to voice that opinion. And so let's don't worry about things that we don't control. Let's worry about these things that we do control.
Do you care that expectations outside the building are low for this team? It seems like
I could care less what the outside expectations are outside of this building. We're just gonna keep going to work every day, and I like our process, and I like what we're doing right now.
I could care less about the outside expectations. This is coming from a coach that's coming off of 2 losing years as a head coach and a team that is currently 3 years without even being in the playoffs. So, I mean, the course of action is, of course they say these things, but they hear everything. They really do. Unless you are John on the Isle of Patmos with no cell phone, no nothing, you're going to hear a lot. You can't get away from it unless you make a stern effort too. And also, it's going to be expectations. The expectations, you can't get away from the expectations. The Saints are a loaded team. They're very talented. And the problem with the Saints have been over the last couple of years under Dennis Allen exclusively has been no accountability or low accountability. Very shabby attention to detail. This is stuff that I said over and over again. Now he's saying it. I wonder how he figured that out. But the expectations are for the Who Dat Nation wants to see this team in the playoffs. The expectations are playoffs. The expectation is a playoff win. The expectation is the NFC South crown, playoff berth, playoff win, and beyond. That's the expectations from the Who Dat Nation to their team, the New Orleans Saints. That's the expectations. To say that, I mean, the expectations of the support base is going to be all that. It's going to be that positive, because nobody wants to see their team fall apart or not make it anywhere or be a laughing stock or have the Atlanta people pointing at them and laughing, even though New Orleans Saints brass run the team basically, but outside of that, the expectations are we need this team to break the 3-year playoff drought, get a playoff win, show some heart, show some intelligence, show us some courage. That's what we want to see. And also the expectations drive ticket sales. So if expectations are low, no money comes to your team, or very little money. So expectations are big, my friend. They really are.
From what you've seen, I know it's way too early, but as far as red zone efficiency, are you confident that that's going to go up?
Yeah, well, look, you're right. It's way too early to really have a clear picture of, what that's going to look like. We just really finished the second day of working, down there in the red zone. I do know this. I do know that it's an area that we have to improve in. We have to be better in that area. And I think part of being better in that area is being able to run the ball more effectively. And I do like some of the things that I've seen out here in terms of what I think we can do, when we really start, practicing football, what I think we can do in the run game.
As far as like sorting out what happens behind the gun, is it you place more of a premium on preseason games practice, or is it? Well, how do you kind of?
Well, I think it's all encompassing. It's cumulative. Obviously, it's like when you go to college, all right, and you take a few quizzes. You go to class, you study, you take a quiz, right? There's a weight that goes to that, right? That's like what practice is. And then all of a sudden you get into, it's time to take the exam, and that's weighted heavier, right? And that's really what we're doing. When we go out and play a preseason game, that's reality. That's what we do. And so when the lights come on, how do we perform in those environments? And yet, all those other quizzes still affect my grade. You with me? And so that's probably the best way I can describe it.
Is that a, as you make decisions, is that a hard decision to make, or do you think it just becomes obvious?
Well, look, I'd say this. I'd say evaluation takes time. Evaluation is not a one-time thing. Evaluation takes the course of time. And I do think over the course of time, I do think it becomes more and more clear as you watch it over the course of time. Now, if you're trying to make a decision after every single practice, then I think that clouds the vision. I think you're evaluating everything every day, and ultimately, as you evaluate, the picture becomes more clear.
Dennis, after all the kind of talk about like culture and stuff after last year, have you seen the buy-in that you wanted to see?
Yeah, look, I think it's been better. I think that's a work in progress still, but I think that's what this time of year is about.
Yeah.
I think this is about developing a foundation, developing some team chemistry, and I think that's what we're doing out here.
When Udo's healthy, do you see him more as a tackle, guard?
I think he's got flexibility to play both. And I think we're going to look at, where are we at on the offensive line, and where can he best help us in that situation. And so, again, I don't think we've made any decisions in terms of exactly where we're going to play him. I think we're going to end up figuring out how to get the best five out there, and that's what we're going to do.
But you feel like you're starting, for a long time, the organization always had a very talented young units. Do you feel like you're starting to that again? Do you see that happening? Yeah,
I see some youth on our football team that I'm excited about, and I'm encouraged by. And so, and look, I think that's how you sustain success in our league, is by acquiring young, talented players and developing them. And quite honestly, I think we've done as good as anybody at developing players, over the course of my time here in New Orleans. So, and I see some young, talented players, on our team, and probably in particular offensively.
Kevin, guys that maybe drafted last year starting to, that maybe they're going to make whatever step that is from the first year to the second year.
Yeah, look, the hope is always that they're going to, make the biggest jump from year one to year two. And yet that's not always the case. And again, like, I don't get into what's the jump going to be in year two. I get into, how's this guy going to get better today? And if you do that, then the end result's going to be closer to what you're looking for. And so I think that's where our focus is.
For that jump to happen. Just for that jump to happen for a guy like A.T. Perry, what did you kind of want to see him work on this off season to maybe put himself in position to?
Everything. He's coming off his rookie year. There's a ton of stuff he's got improve on. And so, again, I don't want him thinking about, well, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do. Like, just come to work every day and focus on the things that you're being coached to do, and do it to the very best of your ability every single day. And if you do that, then the jump that we're all talking about will naturally occur.
How has Kool-Aid been progressing? I think the original target was June for him to get on the field. Is there any hope that maybe he's out here next week?
Yeah, I think there's a chance we could see him in some. I don't think we'll see him in any teamwork next week, but I think there's the potential that he could be out here and maybe working in some walkthroughs and individual type stuff.
In general, his progress.
I think his progress is just fine. Yeah.
Where does Pete Werner on that career progression curve?
Heading into year 4.
His numbers production-wise didn't make it look like he took a big leap from 2 to 3. But where did you see him?
Yeah. Look, I think. Well, I don't think we overall were as effective defensively as we needed to be last year. I think still the scoring defense was still pretty good, but I thought there were some things that we needed to do better overall as a defense. And I think Pete would say that maybe last year was not what he would have anticipated or expected. I think he's come into this offseason with a renewed sense of urgency about improving, and I've seen a great focus out of him this offseason in terms of trying to get better.
He added some veterans to that mix of Willie Gay and Kalika Hudson. I mean, how did he embrace that?
Probably looked at it as a challenge. I would hope that he looked at it as a challenge. I haven't asked him the question, but that's the nature of our business. Is every year there's new people that are brought into the organization. Every year there's new competition, and that's never going to change. So again, that's one of those things that as a player, I can't focus on. I don't have control over the players that the organization brings into the building. I have control over how I perform.
You run that back.
Willie Gay and Kalika Hudson. I mean, how did he embrace that?
Probably looked at it as a challenge. I would hope that he looked at it as a challenge. I haven't asked him the question, but that's the nature of our business. Is every year there's new people that are brought into the organization. Every year there's new competition, and that's never going to change. So again, that's one of those things that as a player, I can't focus on. I don't have control over the players that the organization brings into the building. I have control over how I perform.
What? That can't be right. I'm sorry, fam. That can't be right. The head coach of the New Orleans Saints, he has to be misspeaking. He just said he don't have control over. That can't be right. Pardon me, family. Let me listen to that one last time. That can't be right. I must have misheard that.
And that's never going to change. So again, that's one of those things that as a player, I can't focus on. I don't have control over the players that the organization brings into the building.
What?
I have control over how I perform.
What? If Dennis Allen, what? No, if Dennis Allen doesn't have any control over the players, the Saints who does? Who does have control over the players so somebody above Dennis Allen is just bringing people into the building and Dennis Allen doesn't have any control over them? Is that correct? He must have misspoke. That is totally ridiculous. If that's the case, that can't be. That can't. I'm sorry. One more time, fam. That can't be what he said. That is totally that he has to have he must have spoke on that. He must have been smoking too, but he must have misspoken that time. He had to be. He had to be, because that makes that opens up a whole nother, that explains a lot if that is truth.
And that's never going to change. So again, that's one of those things that as a player, I can't focus on. I don't have control over the players that the organization brings into the building. I have control over how I perform. And I think that's where his focus really has been.
Just have to touch
Oh, I
upon,
got it.
a few weeks ago.
Okay, he said player. Okay, thank
What
you.
have you just seen from Chase Young, even though he's not been able to do stuff? Has he still been around the meetings?
Yeah, look, he's been here every day. He's in all the meetings. And when we're out here at practice, he's in doing the rehab and the things that he's capable of doing. I see a guy that's highly motivated to have a great year, and I think to this point, he's been on track in terms of the healing process. We'll probably have another update, in terms of where he's at here in, a week or two. Probably will paint a little bit clearer picture as to, when we think he might be back. But he's doing everything that we're asking him to do. He's highly motivated. He wants to be a part of this organization, wants to be a part of this team. And look, I'm excited about getting him out here when he's healthy enough to be out here.
All right. He said as a player. Okay. He was speaking as a player. I got you. Thank you for that, man. I know I was listening and I was like, hold on, what? Okay. All right. Thank you, fam. All right. Shout out to brother Thomas, man. Thank you for the super chat, fam. Says Dennis, Dennis Allen, aka Pinocchio. Okay. Thank you, bro. Appreciate the super chat, man. Much love. All right, fam. Let's go ahead on and get on through this, man. Here we go.
2009, so long ago, but you were here and so was Mickey. And I was wondering, with that having been an experience where 7-9, 8-8, and then turn the corner and climb really hard, is there anything instructive that you've been able to reflect on from that period that might be helpful to the staff or the players? Or do you and Mickey ever try to go back and say what worked so well then that mightn't work now? Or is it just totally irrelevant?
Look, they're two totally separate, issues or situations. Look, I'd say that the similarity would be after the 08 season, we brought in a new defensive coordinator. I thought defensively we took on a new attitude. I thought we played more aggressively. I thought we played tougher, and so there was a little bit of a defensive culture change. And so the similarity would be that we've made some changes offensively, and maybe we see the same type of results in that fashion.
And I remembered how that team, personality-wise, did embrace at some point certain expectations, because we'd go in the locker room and interview them, and we saw SB44 T-shirts and Be Special and Smell Greatness and all that stuff. So how do you balance telling guys just focus on the process versus, we can make that jump?
Yeah. Here's the thing. You feel it. You sense it. You see it. Look, I knew somewhere during this time frame, in 2009, I knew we were going to be a good football team. I didn't know how many games we were going to win, but I knew we were going to be a good football team. And so I think over the course of time, you get a sense for it, you get a feel for it. I don't think those things were, I don't recall. I mean, it's 2009, I don't really remember yesterday, but in 2009, I don't recall donning a Super Bowl T-shirt in OTAs. I think that's something that over the course of time, you start seeing it and feeling it as the season goes on, and yet that can't be the focus. Because if you start focusing on that, you lose track of what's right there in front of you, and then you get tripped up.
How critical is the offensive line coach to the change what you're trying to do?
Well, look, so yeah, I would say Yeah, I'd say it's extremely important. Obviously, it starts with Clint as the offensive coordinator. That's where the leadership on the offensive side, starts with him and filters down through, the assistant coaches and then the all the way down through the coaching assistants and then down into the player leadership. But look, the heart and soul of your team really needs to be your offensive line. I think if your offensive line is playing at an extremely high level, I would say more often than not, you're having some success. At least offensively, you're having some success, and I think, overall as a team, I think you see a lot more success when that's the case. And so, yeah, I think that's important. I think the leadership on the offensive line, I'm looking for guys like Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz to step up and have a leadership role in that room, and hold the guys, because there's some young guys that are going to be playing on the offensive line. That's going to happen, and so those guys have to do a great job of holding those guys accountable to the standard, because the standard is the standard regardless of first-year player or 15-year vet.
Because Clint isn't necessarily as maybe fiery as Greg Williams back was in 2009, wondering how you've seen him still trying to instill that new culture or bring about a culture without maybe the pomp and circumstance.
Let me pause it right there for a second. Hemisphere says, what is one big, he said, I guess, what is one big knack? One of the big knocks on DA will be game management. Situational football is his downfall. Player management is another one. This is true. He has to get better at that as a head coach. And I think that's a big part of it. Kind of counting on his offense to kind of bring him around. But I do think, I'm gonna just say that based on some of the research and the things that I've seen with the current offensive staff that we have, there are I don't disparage the last year's staff, but in terms of some of the attributes that's needed to win, they have those things. So it's just a matter of time, right? I mean, like the Taysom Hill thing is awesome. Getting Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill together, how would that look? Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, Jawan Johnson. You have playmakers all over the place. So like I'm saying, the offense was not devoid of talent. We had some of the best players in the game there. Alvin Kamara, in terms of, in my opinion, can do every bit of what Christian McCaffrey was doing for the 49ers last year. He could do every bit of that, if not better. And that's something I talked about. It's like, man, if to look at what Christian McCaffrey doing, I'm sorry for the 49ers in it, but you kind of using you're going to be using a similar system that they rolled out, offensively speaking. Could you imagine the numbers for Alvin Kamara if he can pick up the system like Christian McCaffrey did, stay healthy? McCaffrey put up monster numbers for them, and he had that massive, he got that big extension, yesterday? We covered it on TSC Unleashed. That'll be coming out to our Patreon family members. TSC Unleashed, that'll be rolling out, I think, tonight. An hour show, we talked about different things on that. And that was one of the things. Jefferson's contract with the Vikings is on there. Caden Clark thing that was happening, that was covered. But just imagine Alvin Kamara's numbers in a positive win. And of course, there's going to be a learning curve to what's going on. But like I said, it's all predicated on how fast they can get these guys up to code. And really, it starts with the offensive line. So the offensive line, there are no malcontents on the offensive line. There is no big egos on the offensive line. You got a bunch of young, hungry players. You got Cesar Ruiz and McCoy. In my opinion, their seasons could have been a lot better, especially Eric McCoy. McCoy didn't have a great year, in my opinion. He spent way too much time on the turf, and Cesar Ruiz didn't look like all that either. So a mindset reset, the leadership, I agree with Dennis Allen on that. That is very true. But yeah, this is he as a coach, and this is something that we talk about that, and we can, and yeah, I talk about this with the Pelicans on my Pelican stream too, is that these coaches, they have to get better because the team will go as far as the coach takes them. That's what it comes down to. He's the leader of the team. Like it or lump it, Dennis Allen is the leader. He has to improve as a head coach. We know he's a good defensive coordinator. We know he can do things with the defense, but Clint Kubiak operates the offense, but Dennis Allen is still the head coach. The team will go as far as Dennis Allen will take them, because I'm telling you, there'll be times during the season when Clint Kubiak is going to struggle over there. It's just part of the game. What does Dennis Allen do? Does Dennis Allen go over there and talk to him, or do he leave him alone? How do you handle that if you're Dennis Allen? But Dennis Allen, what did he do last year with Pete Carmichael? Nothing. It didn't force him to change anything. And just, so we hoping that he improves. That's the question. And they never, every year they never ask these questions about just talking directly to Dennis Allen and asking him, as a head coach coming up after 2 years of not making the playoffs in New Orleans, how have you improved as a head coach to churn this team around and head them in the right direction? How have you improved internally? Like, you as a person, what did you do? Did you pick up anything? Did you learn anything new? Did you pick up any motivational techniques, become a better speaker, learn how to deal with people better? What's that about? Did you learn any of these things? That's what I'm talking about. And I know a lot of people not going to lie to hear that, but that's truth is true, is that the team is only going to go as far as the head coach takes them. And this is truth. This is what it is.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, right? And it's not necessary, the as you said it, pomp and circumstance, all the yelling and screaming, that's not necessarily what changed the culture. Okay, it was the attention to detail. It was this is who we are, this is what we are, and this is how we're going to play. And then it was holding the guys accountable to that standard.
Dennis Allen just said attention to detail and basically accountability. And I keep highlighting these things because this is not what we heard early on. But this is the things that he's focused on. He's got this set in his mind now for this upcoming year. Attention to detail and accountability, things that you need to win. Saints lacked these things over the last couple of years. They lacked them. They didn't have that. They didn't know how to use their offensive pieces. The guys false start and they didn't get disciplined for it. What part of attention to detail and accountability is that? So he was saying he said early in the interview about, kind of locking down on the repetitive mistake makers. He didn't use that verbiage, but very similar. So that's also a part of the accountability matrix. So Dennis Allen has this beat in his head now, man. So this is good. This is good talk. A lot of people don't like Dennis Allen, but I'm telling you the truth. He's talking the right talk, family. Like it or lump it, Dennis Allen is talking the right talk. All right, Smallville, thank you, man. Say, what's up, Q? Shout out to you. Appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you and all the family members. Thank y'all for being here. He says, yo, why is this guy, he says, Jerry, a hater? He gets mad and you talking about OG Jerry? He says, expressing our opinion, DA sucks and will take the team. I assure you. Thank you for the super chat, Smallville. OG Jerry is not a hater. Jerry's very passionate and he's serious about the Saints. I think y'all have a lot in common in terms of y'all passion. I just think, it just, some people they don't believe in Dennis Allen, and that's fine. They don't believe a lot. And see, a lot of people don't believe in Dennis Allen. And Dennis Allen truth be told, Dennis Allen hadn't really given the Who Dat Nation and the support base much to be, happy for. You know, he doesn't really ingratiate himself to you. He said he don't really care about what the expectations are. And that's a part of the knowing how to speak to people. Even though you think that as a head coach, you have to be sensitive to all things that's coming here, because not all things that are coming outside of the building is stuff that you can't use. You get what I'm saying? But see, if you don't have discernment, you don't have the ability to differentiate between which is which, then you'd say, I just block it all out. I don't want to hear none of it, which is, you can't, that won't work. You're going to hear it because you go on these media shows, you go on NFL.com, you go on these other places, and they ask you questions that are coming from supporters and non-supporters about the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints haven't won in 3 years, and Tampa Bay has controlled the division 3 years straight. And the Saints have not been void of talent. They've had talent, some of the best talent in the NFC South we've had. A lot of the losing was self-inflicted. I've said that over and over again. It was self-inflicted. Not making the changes when we're supposed to make the changes, not doing what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it. And the other team doing, making those changes, making those adjustments. And it hurt us in the end, and it cost us. But like I said, pressure builds. Third year here, people are not going to settle for a 9 playoff season, and you keeping around here. Mickey Loomis was already damn near out of his mind at the end of that season press conference. It was taking daytime coming out with these press conferences, talking about he has to take a couple of weeks after the season to evaluate the team, that was complete balderdash, and that's why I was lambasting him all throughout the season. Because if you would be doing your in-season evaluations, and you would know that's what general managers do. That's why you wouldn't have to take 2 effing weeks to find out who you need to get up out of here and who needs to stay. If you was doing your work that you're getting paid to do, because I'm pretty sure you're getting a GM check too. You're not just getting paid the VP check. Now, that would say a lot if that was the case, like, we just paying you to be a VP and the GM is a throw-in. That would explain a lot. But I don't know the situation in particulars. I'm just saying that, accountability starts, don't just start at the head coach level. It starts way up in the top of the organization. But if you have a person that don't know football, not well enough where it can keep its employees accountable, and it's over relying on people underneath to do it. And like I said, that becomes a problem, because the pressure falls on Mickey Loomis, and Mickey Loomis is he's the oldest. I think he's the oldest general manager in the game. I think the game to a large degree has passed Mickey Loomis by. A lot of his money decisions are very questionable. The $150 million contract that they doled out to Derek Carr was not a good contract. It's an escalating contract with him getting older and the numbers going up. Now, there is an option at a certain point, but still in all, it's very interesting, man, the whole Saints setup at the end. I've been saying this for a matter of months now about reformatting this whole thing. This is not how it's supposed to be. The top 2 people in the organization don't know enough about any of the sports that they're supposed to be president of. Dennis Laucher doesn't know anything about football. He defers questions to Mickey. And then on the back, he got the same position for the Pelicans. You don't know nothing about basketball. Defers questions to David Griffin. Why are you up there? If you're supposed to be the what the hell? No, you should be the chief financial officer and take the president job and give it to somebody that know about that sport. That's what you're supposed to do. And I think that's when you kind of start reshaping things. And people don't talk about this, but this is a major problem. Accountability. How is the 2 top people of your organization going to hold football people and basketball people accountable when they don't even know the sports like they're supposed to? And they're over relying on people to get it. So if these people fail, the team struggle. There's no accountability. And even if you don't know, you're supposed to still be evaluating them to the best of your ability. There is no evaluation going on by Dennis Laucher at any level of Mickey Loomis. He said at the start of the season, Mickey is doing a great job. I'm like, what part of that is a great job when we've missed the playoff for 3 years straight? How's he doing a good job, bro? That just shows me that they're not doing any evaluations. Mickey doesn't do any evaluations during the season. It's laughable. But accountability has to come. It has to fall somewhere. before it to start with our offensive coordinator and not the head coach, even though the coach is talking like that now, and he's gotten guys that's accountable. And in previous interviews, Dennis Allen did say that he's hoping that that catch from what the offense is doing catches on with the rest of the team. So he understands that. So you got to understand your limitations. Now, I understand him giving the offense to Clint Kubiak and say, hey, man, do this, handle this, do that. But you could have seen a different effect last year had you had more of a hands-on role with Pete Carmichael, even if you force him to step down or have the other guy to call the plays just to see if a change would happen. That's what coaches do. They come in and make adjustments here, there, and see if things change, create a spark, perhaps something happens there. You know, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. You right, Matt Drummer. Mickey's not going nowhere. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Now, you don't have to fire Mickey Loomis. I'm not saying that because he's a good VP. He just stinks as a general manager. That's my point. There is other people that can get the general manager job. And we need more people with football knowledge at the top of the Saints organization. That's not named Dennis Laucha or Gail. Gail is the owner. She's the governor. Laucha should be the chief financial officer or the chief. He can't be the CEO because that's also Gail's title. But maybe the chief financial officer. He's the money guy. He don't know nothing about these sports. He shouldn't be president of the Saints or the Pelicans, and he don't know nothing about these sports enough to govern or evaluate any of these people. You know, Thomas says, you think Gail would ever move on these guys over the Saints and the Pelicans? No. That's how David Griffin, who's a snake oil salesman, and Mickey Loomis could do what they do because they know she don't know. They know she don't know. And he know the guy above him is not going to do anything to him. He know that. Mickey Loomis, didn't he tell you early in the year that he's going to be here? He can see himself being a general manager for the next 10 years. And Mickey is 70 years old for real? What is he, 65 or something like that? So you're going to be a 70-year-old general. It's just it's absolutely laughable. But in the end, man, that's what I'm saying. Things could get the shaking and baking if the Saints don't get this right. But we need accountability, and it is a positive in my book that Dennis Allen is talking like this. And be honest, thank you, Thomas, for that. It's a positive to me. Listen, a lot of people don't like Dennis Allen, and I get it. You know, but at the end, Dennis Allen is talking the right way. He is. He's talking the right way. He's saying the things that we want to hear, and he's saying it a lot. Like it's a mindset change, like attention to detail and accountability. You need that to win. So, I mean, I got to give him credit for that, man.
That was the difference. Now, how you do that, you know, Greg Williams was, you know, hell of a defensive coach. Tony Dungy was a great defensive coach and a head coach. You know, I'd say they probably did it two different ways, you know, but both effective. But the accountability factor is the key.
The accountability factor is the key. Once again, Dennis Allen says it again. The accountability factor is the key. See what I'm saying? He said it again. He sprinkles it in there, but he's saying the right stuff. Now let's see him carry it out. So like I said, I'm give Dennis Allen because Dennis Allen is saying the right stuff. I'm gonna give Dennis Allen, let Dennis Allen, hey man, you're saying the right stuff. Let's see if you can make it stick. But he's saying the right stuff.
Greg used more words than Tony.
I would say different words. Yeah, different words for sure. All right, guys, appreciate it.
All right, so there go Dennis Allen, man. So he's speaking right. Like he said, mentioned it in this interview multiple times. Accountability and attention to detail. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's a positive. That's what we need. We need that, you know, in the team. We really do. You know, I wish we had it further up in the organization, but you know, we got this weird thing going on, like this mafia family type thing going on right here. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Mickey's a made man. That's what you start using mafia verbiage. Yeah, we got Gail Don up there. She's, you know, Gail's the Donis. She's the Donis. You know, Laucha is the capo, and Mickey's a made man. That's you can't. If I've said it a lot about the Saints organization, reminds me of it's a mafia family. Nobody's doing any evaluations at the highest level. You know that Mickey's a made man. He can't be touched. Mickey's a made man. How about that? All right. Anyway, we're gonna go over to Chris Olave. Shout out to y'all, man, for being here. Shout out Brother Wallace says why Mickey Loomis do not want to do not want a winning team. He should do everything in his power to have a winning team. It says something about that pressure situation. When you got pressure on you, man, it's a whole nother world. It forces you to think a little longer about the decisions that you make. But when you know that ain't no pressure there and you have this comfortable environment, then things, they kind of lose a little sight. But pressure makes things a lot. It shakes things up. Slim says, honestly, Sean Payton ran this team. Mickey Loomis was really exposed right now. Yeah, we uncovered a lot of that. Mickey Loomis, like I said, is a good VP, but general manager wise, he's been falling down for a while. And that's true. Sean Payton covered up a lot of the minuses the Saints have. If you go back to Sean Payton, really was a de facto general manager. He told Mickey Loomis what to do, and Mickey Loomis would go and do it. He told Mickey Loomis what players he wanted, and Mickey would go and get them. And that was the gift of Mickey. Mickey did not turn Sean down. If Sean Payton wanted something, he would go get it for him. And that was his gift. But then when you seen Sean Payton take his leave and Dennis Allen step there, those are totally two personalities altogether. Because Sean Payton was more of a get it done type of guy. Then he had all those leadership abilities. He was a bit of a you know what as well. But Dennis Allen is a guy he has a laid back approach. He's not a hands-on guy. He's not, he wasn't big on accountability or attention to detail. And you could tell, and it showed in his teams. That's why some of these games the Saints were there. Some of these games the Saints wasn't there. Like I said, you cannot get away from that. You can't get away from the coach. His energy and aura is over the team. The team goes as far as the coach takes them. It's not the opposite way around, even though we have all this talent. We've seen this happen in the 7 and 9 year. Like when we seen it's like, man, there's no way these really good players are going to allow the Saints team to fail and fall. And they did. Because what could they do? I'm just a player, right? They got upset like a Laddie Daddy and Elvin or a Cam. They all got upset and voiced their opinions in the way they could have voiced them, or their actions or whatnot. But they only did as much as they felt they could do. And the team, and like I said, we can't get away from that. The team will go as far as Dennis Allen. So it's when we talk about how far the Saints will go from a talent perspective, is based on the imagination and the decision making of the head coach, the man that's running the team, and that's Dennis Allen. Like it or lump it. All right, Anthony says, I don't believe what Dennis Allen is saying. He's garbage and he's trash. Nah, I mean, like I hear you on that, bro. And like I said, I can't really. A lot of people feel a certain way about Dennis Allen. They don't like him. And listen, it's not just. I remember all of it. I really do. I remember the stuff that he said at the end of the season with the 49ers game, how he threw his team under the bus. He apologized to the Niners. And I don't understand. I don't think he understands or really cares the weight of what he does. Your actions have weight. The optics of it looked very bad for you to apologize to the Falcons, and you never apologize to any of the Saints supporters for all the trash losing that we've been doing over the last couple of years. Not even some of the worst games. The Green Bay game where the Saints allowed Green Bay to win the game, and that game comes back to kick them in their tail. The Minnesota game where they had a backup quarterback that was just got there and he beat the Saints. The Atlanta game where Derek Carr threw the pick six after the bye. We had some ugly losses. Not one of those games did he ever get up there on that podium and apologize to the Who Dat Nation. Not one time, but he does it for the Atlanta. That sits in people's minds. Say, I don't like this dude. I don't like this dude. This dude is not my coach. And he's given them plenty of examples of why people don't like Dennis Allen, and not enough positives to counterbalance that. You've been here for 2 years. Yeah, you got 9 wins. That's the best that you did as a coach. But at the end of the day, it's still a 9 playoff year. You might it does no good to have 9 wins and you don't make the playoffs. That doesn't help you. But it's I understand both sides. Really, I do. That's why when people say they don't believe nothing he says, I get it. I understand totally, fam. Here go Chris Olave.
Every day, trying to get better. I heard it in the weight room a little bit, but it's just been in the training room trying to get right.
Just
obviously new offense. Just your a couple weeks in here with OTAs. What's your kind of impressions of this new system? I love it, man. It's a great offense for the playmakers that we have. The West Coast offense that San Francisco ran. So we got a lot of playmakers since my first year. So it's to be able to use them, and with a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of different things that we haven't ran in the past. They bring here. So I'm excited.
What do you think some of that'll be able to bring out of your game as you keep trying to level up and everything?
Just being more explosive, probably more yards per catch with the space that he's putting us into. The more yards at the catch, more explosive plays for not just only me but Sheed and AK and Taysom. So I'm excited to be able to be in the system.
I assume you think you guys can be a lot more explosive than you have been the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, of course. It brings a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying, in the playbook, but just accountability, I feel like that's going to lead us to success.
They said the language is a little shorter. Have you found that the language that you guys use, is it about the same, or is it a little?
It's kind of the same, really. Yeah. It's a long plays, but it's more understanding for sure. I feel like you could get to that more understanding plays, and I feel like that's the difference.
Hayner was saying the other day, just kind of like coming into this offense after like 20 years of Breeze, and just kind of how it was just kind of built on top of each other and on top of each other is like kind of a lot to kind of take in. Do you find that like kind of tearing it down to something new, starting to like zero with everybody, it's just a little bit easier to kind of get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, I feel like it's way easier. Like you said, it was kind of more of a Drew Brees style, the last playbook. So all credit to them though. They built that around him, around his players, but. Like I said, it's more. This playbook is more for matchups, and I feel like it's going to be better for us.
How do you think it's going to really take advantage of your skill sets?
Just building around the strengths that I have. You know what I'm saying? Things that I can do and things that she can do. Things that our players can do is kind of focus on what we can do and building on that. I feel like it's playing to the player's strengths, so I feel like it's going to help us a lot.
A lot of the emphasis has been around the way this offense will have a lot more speed. How's that transition been so far?
I mean, like I said, it's building around the player's strengths. So, of course, we got speed with me and she and AT at receiver. So, just building around that. Like I said, playing to our strengths and be able to capitalize off that. I feel like it's going to help us a lot.
More so like the up-tempo aspect, getting a lot of plays in less time.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely going to play a big difference. Like I said, coming from the West Coast, they bringing that San Fran offense here. So, I'm excited to be able to be a part of that.
For you personally, what's the next level look like for you? What are you trying to accomplish this year?
Just staying consistent, man. I had a couple ups and downs last year. Just building off that. You're always gonna work on the physical part, but being able to bounce back after a bad game, the mental aspect. Just learning that last year and being able to build on that this year is a huge part.
With Mike gone, do you take it upon yourself to kind of be that voice in the room, or to take a step forward even further?
I mean, it's not really. I mean, everybody kind of grown in the NFL, so it's just on you to be able to have that standard. Like I said, I just try to do that, lead by example. I'm not really outspoken, but just lead by example, working hard, trying to dominate every rep, and hopefully they follow after that.
And that yards after the catch, do you feel like that's a strength of yours that maybe wasn't utilized? I don't know if "utilize" is the right word, but you could show more in that kind of
yeah, it's an offense that is built around that. Just catching the ball in space, catching the ball over the middle, or even on the outside with space and separation. I feel like it's built around having yards after catch. So I'm definitely proud to be in the system, like I said, and I'm excited.
Is that a mindset too, like being good at yards after the catch? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, you don't want to get tackled by the first person, and my mindset is trying to take everything to the house, every touch. So I definitely got to do that more, and I'll definitely try to work on that in practice.
If we can get, man, listen, like I've said, man, the Saints can pretty much run whatever offense they want, to be honest with you, with the talent that we have. This Kubiak style offense, man, like he said when one of his first interviews, he talked about asking him why did he decide to come to New Orleans. He said because of the players. I mean, we have some great players awesome players. Chris Olave is going to have a phenomenal year this year. Taysom Hill is going to have a solid year, probably the best season we've seen in terms of him not just being the everything guy, but you kind of vocalize him to not one main group, but have him doing a certain thing. And then Alvin Kamara, man, one of the major benefactors that's going to be a part of this new system, if it runs similar to what we've seen in the past with the Saints, Alvin Kamara is going to have a monster year, man. I mean, by far, it'll be the biggest year of his career. And we've been waiting to see that from Alvin Kamara. He's been like, overall, his game's been there, but imagine a season like he's at 1,300 rushing yards, 600-700 catching yards, got 10 plus touchdowns running the ball, and another 7 or 8 catching the ball. His scrimmage yards are through the roof. He stays healthy behind that offense, and that could be what you see. That's very similar, because if they're mimicking what the Niners are doing, and they are going to do some of that, then Alvin Kamara could do every bit of what Christian McCaffrey does, probably even better. So, I mean, like I said, we have the guys, man. We have the guys. And once again, to the family members way in the back, I don't trust Dennis Allen, okay? But I'm saying this, the way he's talking, you need to have certain things to be able to win in this league. You have to have attention to detail. You have to have accountability. You got to have other things like leadership. You got to know when to step in to do something, when and when not. You got to know how to talk to people. You can't talk to everybody the same way. So communication is key. Knowing how to switch up the communication. Knowing, not to take and choose favorites. Knowing when to criticize and when not to criticize. Knowing when to pull a guy out of there that's struggling or not doing and put the next guy in. You see, adjusting when you're supposed to. This is a lot of stuff that you got to have. But to have the foundation of accountability and attention to detail is a plus, because that guy wasn't talking like that the first couple of years. Now that's 2 of his favorite words all of a sudden now. So that is a plus based on what I've been seeing over the last couple of years from this administration, bro. Like I said, you only going to go as far as the team goes. Brother James says, Q, Dennis tried to BS us during that interview. Rattler will challenge Carr. Yeah, I kind of talked about that, trying to cover, his butt and lie. He passed on a lot of great players and really challenged Carr to step up. Yeah, this and I think a lot of people, that's what I'm saying, the phenomena that's happening with Spencer Rattler, every positive thing that Spencer Rattler do is going to be accelerated. It's going to be spoken about, because the writers know that the people want to hear about Spencer Rattler. They want to hear about him. They don't want to hear about Derek Carr. And people say, oh man, and then they come with all this nonsense about people not giving Derek Carr a fair opportunity and all this kind of nonsense. Man, it's a reason for everything. The majority of the people are not incorrect on this thing. Like I said, I have absolutely no problem with Derek Carr as a person. With the football player, he does the same things that he can be broken down very easily on tape, because he tends to stare down one side of the field far too often. He doesn't go through his progressions like he's supposed to, and that's clear on tape. And you're a guy that been in the league for 10 plus years and you're still doing this rookie stuff. Somebody has to stop that. And the fact that he never mentioned that, the fact, I got to stop staring guys down, man, that's really hurting us. Nobody said that. That's terrible. That's awful. It's on film countless times, and then you check it down and people are like, what the hell? Why are you checking? Then a lot of the check downs was because he wasn't looking at all over the field. They had guys running wide open, guys one-on-one. And this gentleman on the camera, on the stream right now, was frustrated. Remember, he got into the altercation and all that because they were frustrated. Him and Derek Carr pointing at him and fussing and, all this kind of stuff. What? All that happened, and people sit up there and just crazy as hell, forgetful as a what, and sitting up there talking about, I don't know why they don't like Derek Carr. Man, dude, please. This is what the F we do here. And I'm being pro. Well, how you go, family? Help me out here. I'm trying to be profound, not profane, baby. I'm trying to be profound, not profane. Because y'all know y'all let them go on them. But like I said, I'm trying to keep the ears clean right there about other people listening. Because I've been letting them fly lately. I'm like, oh my goodness, hold on here, man. Let me kind of pull this in here. Cutting them up. Like, man, you must have been fed up. Yeah, I was fed up, man. I was tired of hearing all this crap. And people forgetful as hell, man. If you don't know, then go ask somebody that do. Sit up there. If you don't know, I don't know why. Well, go ask somebody that knows. They'll tell your ass the truth. They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you the truth. This is what we do. We know this team, man. Let me tell you, inside and out, we know this team. All right, let's finish up with Mr. Olave.
Great dude, man. Some that I definitely needed. Some that he relates to me, just from backgrounds. And he's a great coach, great leader, motivational, and like I said, I'm excited to have him around. And for him to push me is everything that I need. So.
When you're talking about like mentally bouncing back, from tough performances or whatever, like, did you like try to find any resources to kind of help you figure out how to do that?
Oh yeah, I mean it's older guys that tell me that's natural. Just have bad games, but just having the standard that I have for myself and the expectations I have for myself gets hard sometimes. So just being able to be hard on yourself, but at the same time, just let it go and just bounce back for the next game is something that I learned last year.
Are you one of those guys that feels like you should always have a certain level of production, or are you okay with those certain games where the defense is so focused on you that other guys have good games and you're just running good routes and the ball's not coming there?
Yeah, I definitely was like that early in my career, especially in college. But I found out it's just about winning, really. Just trying, if you are that number one guy, just to bring that attention to you so other guys can get open. It's going to be games like that. But as long as we winning, I feel like I can control what I can control. So.
And how accustomed are you, since you've been here, in a way, since your rookie year, there were games where you've been the number one guy, really. When did you really start getting used to, in the NFL, knowing that you were the primary concern for the opposing secondary?
Probably last year, really. My rookie year, I wasn't really receiver one. Mike and Jarvis was here. Kind of had to play my role until they got hurt. But probably last year when that was the focal point, it still wasn't too much attention. But some games it was kind of like that. So probably last year, that's when I learned.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. Good question by the reporter about him taking the injuries that impacted the Saints veteran-wise. So Michael Thomas, he talked about Jarvis Landry being hurt, and he was thrust into the role as the number one guy. He's been dealing with that for the last couple of years. So we know that Chris Olave is a guy that's ready for big time. He has the hands, he has the brains, he's very fast. He's a cool dude. So at the end of the day, that if the Saints come here, they bring in a running attack along with what's happening, and then they'll have opportunities to get the ball up the field to Chris Olave. He's going to ball, man. He's going to ball. He's going to have a solid year. So, like I said, we have the guys. We have the pieces. We have the guys in place, man, to do positive things, man. All right, here's a very happy fellow as we get ready. Shout out to you guys. Uncle Paul, I see what you're saying, fam. He says Derek Carr is not going to be that much better from last year. He too stubborn to really change his QB play. For real. Not him. But Clint Kubiak has been on his back, and Clint Kubiak is not going to allow him to play, to be slacking on that. He's not. And that's not how he rolls, because Derek Carr is a big part of winning for the Saints. Like, of course, we get the offensive line going and we start running the ball, but Derek Carr still has to play his part. And that's what we're talking about. When Clint Kubiak was talking about his, going with it, and Andrew Janoku, the QB coach, was saying this too about Carr's footwork, progression. They talked about progression, they talked about footwork, and they talking about timing. And really, like I said, I didn't talk too much about Derek Carr's footwork, but they're mentioning it because it's a part of the timing thing too. They want Derek Carr to stay on time with the offense they're trying to install. If he's off time, that messes up everything. And like I said, this should we'll see how far Carr progresses in the system because he tends to hold the ball too long. He doesn't progress through his progressions like he's supposed to. Not he does it sometimes and sometimes he doesn't, which is, I mean, that's why his numbers could have been a lot better. He kind of really did that to himself, just being unfundamental. Those guys are not going to tolerate that. And I'm talking about Clint Kubiak and Andrew Ginocchio. Dennis Allen, that's a whole nother thing. But those guys on offense, they're going to make sure that Carr stays on code with the timing. He has to. And if he struggle mightily, man, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It really is, because there's a pressure element, even though they don't want to admit it. The organization don't want to admit it. Let me tell you something. It's not about the organization. They'll never put any pressure on themselves if it came down to that, unless you have people at the top that understood who they're doing this for. You putting this team together to make the supporters of the team excited about it, so they come to support the team. But over the last 3 years of how the team has handled the losing, and how some of the brass has spoken to the support base, that's not how you do it. That's damn sure not how you do it. So it's what it is. All right. So anyway, Keith says, Carr, he says, got Carr leg broke. If I had no cover, I would be staring down receivers too. Carr's leg broke. What leg broke? What you talking about, bro? Got Carr's leg broke. Carr's leg wasn't broke. What you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Lewis says, I like Olave will be working on Yak. That's not his strong suit. Some of this is same with the whole offense. Yak is just a good thing to emphasize. All right, Lewis, thank you for that. Yak is a good thing. Yards after catch, especially what he was talking about is, and John Benton alluded to this when he had his interviews about how they were going to block up field. They were talking about cutting off pursuit angles, which would, if you did that, then Yak would improve because the defenders would not be able to pursue you. So they'll have clean lanes to run through and nobody chasing them down. And that's a good thing for a guy like Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed or Alvin Kamara or Taysom Hill. These guys can run, and especially in the open field, you won't catch them from, you won't run these guys down. It won't happen. All right. Oh, he's saying in Oakland. Oh, okay, brother. I don't really pay too much what happened to him in Oakland. All right. Thank you for that. All right, here we go. Jamal Williams.
Nostalgic vibes of what I've seen in the past, and I watched playing again, so I like you.
You say in relation to nostalgic feelings, a little reminiscent of a 1,000-yard, 17 touchdown season?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking for the offense wise. I've seen this offense before, and I've watched it, going against it, watched it. I remember Raheem Mostert when he going crazy against us in Green Bay, and he's like, where in the hell did this come from? That boy going crazy. So it's that offense. I love it. So I'm good. Me likey.
When you found out that would be the offense that you guys would be.
Me likey. I'm done. I don't even know nothing else. I'm done. Me likey. I love motions. I love just the dressing. So I just love the dressing of this offense. It's great.
Do you feel like it's kind of re-energized the guys, having something new, different attack?
It's a great offense. Me likey. I'm gonna just keep it at that. I can't say nothing else. I don't know. Y'all be going sound bites on everybody lately, so I'm all right. Me likey. That's all I got.
You mean just cautious optimism, man?
Huh?
Just cautious optimism?
I'm excited. Me likey. That's all I got. I got no other words.
Is this your rendition of "I'm just here so I don't get fined"?
Oh no, it's not that. I just got to be quiet. I don't know. It's like my mouth. I don't know. See, look, he's trying to get me. Me likey.
I was going to ask you just overall, just your comfortability of just, the second season here and just kind of knowing the whole process and everything.
It's great. It's great. Honestly, now I feel more like I'm here now for my second year. So now I'm just ready to go to work, keep showing my my personalities and just keep being me. So that's what I can do for the team.
What do you think about this new scheme gives you the chance to show even more of your skill set?
What you say?
What do you think about this scheme gives you the chance to show even more of your skill set?
Man.
Oh man, how could you not like Jamal Williams, man? How could you not like him, man? All right, Tim, this is an interesting question right here, Tim. If Taysom is getting running back carries, what does it mean for him? I don't know, brother. Is that's a deep running back room. But like a lot of people expect, Taysom to do the use check role, which is the fullback and other things, and every now and then you see use check get the short yardage run and they move them around. But I don't know. That's going to be interesting to watch though, because Jamal Williams is, he's listed as the backup, the complement to Alvin Kamara. If Taysom is in there, could you imagine what that does? And then you still have Kendre Miller. If Kendre, because the thing is, Kendre Miller is kind of he's seen at I ain't gonna say at a lower level, but from a futuristic standpoint, he's seen as a replacement for Alvin Kamara. Because Kendre Miller is an absolute beast. Wait till he realizes and get healthy and mature and do all that. That guy is going to be special. But Jamal is brung in by the Saints last year to be a compliment to AK-41. If Taysom is in that role, that can be interesting. But then again, like I said, if he's the Kyle Juszczyk role, that could be a fullback. But we'll have to see as this materializes and goes forward. But yes, indeed, man, we'll see. Yeah, he said he reach. We'll see, fam. We'll see. Yeah, they all reach.
I was about to say something snappy, boy. I tell you, I was about to say something really snappy, but I'm not. Me like you. That's all I got.
Have you changed?
No, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Me like you. That's
have you changed anything with your preparation going into this year, considering you're in and out last year?
Wait, huh? Say it. What do you mean?
Well, you dealt with the injury.
It's only like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Golly. Dang. What the? It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I'm great. I'm awesome. This is football. Ready to go. Yeah. Dang, that's cold. She said I'm in and out. That's crazy.
I mean, you were in and out and then back in.
She ain't lying, bro.
You talking about just me going out one time? All right, cool. We good.
She ain't lying, man.
That's calling me soft now. You calling me soft?
No.
All right, that's cool.
Despite
She ain't lying, bro.
I guess, is there motivation this season to kind of,
I got a whole bunch.
Because of, how it went 2 seasons ago and then how it went last year? I mean, is there any type of motivation for you this offseason going, hey, I'm better than what those stats?
I don't give two. I'm trying not to cuss.
You didn't
I know.
Cuss. You didn't cuss. You're good.
I don't care about people's opinions. I'm going home. You think freak. I'm trying.
Jamal, be profound, not profane, brother. Be profound, not profane.
I'm trying not to get angry or cuss at these comments like I care. I'm gonna go home. They ain't gonna never see me. People got to talk to me on social medias, and you could turn that off. Right. Weirdos. Okay, but I just play football. I'm just ready to go. Like I'm blessed to play football. This is a blissful and grateful job. You gotta be humble about this. Like not everybody does this. So that's why people be talking like they could be in here. They ain't here.
Outside of those, and not those opinions, but for you personally, just
me personally,
like,
I'm ready to go always. I keep myself motivated. I don't need nothing else. I'm just grateful for life. I'm grateful for adversities. I'm grateful for the things outside of football that can help you either make you or break you in your sport of playing football. So there's a lot of things that go outside of football that literally has a direct effect on your mental ability, your abilities on the field, how you focus in and how you prepare for a game. And a lot of people don't understand that because they just see what they see on the game. They don't understand what happens during the week, what you're dealing with, adversities, just anything that's not good for you that can affect your game is literally things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So year 8, grateful to still be playing. I'm grateful for where I'm at. And every year is always something different from my adversity that's challenging me. So I literally just try to do my best. I'm getting older. I'm learning. I'm just grateful for my loved ones that are for me. I'm grateful for my daughter. I'm grateful for just my cats. I got new cats now, hairless cats. Finxes. I got Finxes. But they just really the main things that keep me going right now. I'm just blessed. I'm enjoying the little things in life. Like after practice, I'm more excited just to go home and play with my cat. So it gave me motivation. It gives me peace now. So I'm good. I got my cats. Nothing can make me angry anymore. I got cats. Leave me alone.
that process about focusing the season. I know Da has said that message and the whole team about that. Does that kind of resonate more for you about, hey, it's not really about the results, it's more about this?
I got cats. Leave me alone. All right, Jamal. Yes, yes. Yes, I got dude. They can't mess with me now, y'all. I got cats. I got cats. Leave me alone. All right, shout out to Jamal, man. Brother James says Kamara equals McCaffrey. Taysom equals Debo. Okay, on top of a deep running back room with decent receivers. Kubiak may prolong Carr's career if Carr can manage our defenses. He needs to be solid like last year, just a step better, though. Thank you, Brother James. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I love Jamal Williams, man. Dude's awesome, man. He is, man.
Process of getting ready and you kind of embrace that.
Yeah, you just gotta trust the process. Just stay in it. Like really, just stay in the present. You know, we get excited about the future. Sometimes you be sad about the past, but right now you just gotta stay in the present. And that's what I be trying to do now. Oh, there's a good quote from a Kung Fu Panda the turtle. You remember that one about the gift of the present? That's why they call it the present. I've been.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift. You know, it's that one. It's that one.
This dude just pulls them out of nowhere. Yeah, the cat thing, man. I didn't like cats either, man. And then somebody had a cat, and the cat was the coolest cat in the world, man. So yeah, I guess cats are all right, man. One, I never liked them prior to that, but that one took a shine to me. So I was like, yeah, cats ain't too bad, man. So I get it.
But pretty much, I'm just having fun, man. I'm just trying to get back to having fun. Like when they tell you the person that smiles the most is the one who's going through the most, it's true. So, but at the same time, I try to do the best I can to make sure people who are going through things in here who aren't having a bad day, that I make sure that I can lift them up and get us motivated to play today. So.
What are the name of your cats?
My cats? Yeah. Oh, my boy's name is Negative Barris Williams, and then my girl's name is Pearly Lee Happy Williams.
What were the motivations?
Pearly Lee is from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a deck that's called like the Pearly deck. And it's literally cats too. And it go crazy. It's crazy strong. I really demolish people with cute cats for my cards. And then I got my boy Beerus. I really feel like anybody who watches Dragon Ball, well, any Dragon Ball Z, and you have a Finks cat, and if you didn't name your cat Beerus, then you're not true to the anime game.
Did you dye the cat purple? Or?
No. They like blue, pink, you know what I mean? But I call them Negative just to make them different. So Negative Beerus is his whole name.
And just lastly, you talked about that a little bit. I mean, what did you do in the off season? Not from a physical, but from a mental health standpoint.
Praying, reading books, just trying to get my mental right, and just keep doing self-love, self-worth, knowing your value, understanding that you do a lot already, and if people can't accept the generosity that you are now and how you handle your life, and you trying to give out the love, they can't handle that, or they want more from you, then sometimes you just got to let those people go and then just let it be.
How has the locker room and your teammates really helped you through?
Oh, they're awesome. They're cool. They're all good. Cam is better. We're growing more and more. When I first got here, Cam didn't like me. He was talking crack about me. Literally, he was. My voice and everything. He said it was nasally. I remember. And that's the first thing I asked him. I'm like, dang, Cam, what's up, boy? We got a problem? He's like, nah, I just like Johnson. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. I let it be. He my dog, though. That's my dog.
Could you imagine Cam Jordan and Jamal Williams just bantering back and forth? I don't know if the Who Dat Nation could take that. With Cam's bright-eyed, bushy tail approach and Jamal Williams talking like this and then dropping some nuggets. I like what he said toward the end there, too. That was a good game by Jamal Williams. Yeah, man, that's always a lively interview. Always like to listen to that brother speak. All right, so let's move from Jamal, a very animated and a happy interview by Jamal Williams, to talk about somebody that's nasally. He said he sound nasally. Man, Brother Curl Granderson, man. I don't know if we say he's nasally, but I don't know, man. Brother Curl has a very unique sound. But anyway, here we go.
How much more of a noticeable change is it with this scheme compared to last year?
Say that again?
The speed that you talked about, how much more noticeable of a jump is it with this new scheme?
I feel like offense and defense right now, we have a sense of urgency. We want better results this year. versus last year and the year before. So our sense of urgency has picked up tremendously. So the offense had picked their tempo up, and then we picked our tempo up, and we just out there competing.
Carl, how do you feel going into this season?
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel good. I've been consistent throughout the OTAs, and I'm just really excited for the guys, Kim Jordan, um, Chase Young, Bazee, Peyton Turner. So we got a lot of vets coming back. So I'm really excited. And once we get everyone healthy, we're going to be ready to go.
8.5 sacks last year, led the team. What's next for Carl Grant?
Man, just to stay consistent. That's my key this year. I started off fast last year and then hit a wall in the middle. So I'm just trying to be consistent throughout the year, making my teammates better around me, and lead by example. Try to come to practice ready to work every day, show these guys how we do it here, and be a vet. So staying consistent, being a vet, being a pro is going to be important for this next upcoming season.
What you guys think Carl Granderson's sack numbers look like with a healthy Chase Young on the opposite side? Because he said he hit a wall there. That's interesting. But the thing is, what does that look like? Right? You got Carl Granderson on one side, and then on the opposite side, you have Chase Young, a healthy Chase Young. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? And Carl Granderson, we always knew he was going to be a very solid defensive end. He worked his way up. This brother, I mean, his story is amazing, man. When Carl Granderson's story is all over with, when he's finished playing, it's an awesome story. When Carl Granderson was in jail, remember that? He was in jail. They put him in jail after the stuff that happened up there in where he came from, Wyoming, I want to say. And then he had some type of issue with a judge, did something wrong. She did something she wasn't supposed to do, and he appealed it and got out. Something, y'all remember that? And then the Saints never let go of Carl Granderson. They believed in him. And then Carl Granderson came here. He was a stand-up citizen, stand-up person for the Saints, and that man earned his way into a nice fat contract last year. He basically beat out Peyton Turner for the money. And now Carl Granderson is the guy there. And I can only imagine with a healthy Saints tandem of Carl Granderson and Chase Young, what that looks like. And then a healthy Cam Jordan coming off the bench. That's, man. Yeah. KT, what's up, bro? It says 10 sacks. All right, Derek says 10. What's up, Barbara? Good to see you. Big Dog Q says 12 and a half. Wow. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. That would be cool, man, to see him. It wouldn't be cool to see him get north of 12 sacks on a year? That would be awesome, man. I'm not going to lie to you. That'll be awesome. Yeah, but here we go, Carl Granderson.
How do you dig into, you mentioned hitting that wall midway through the season. How do you go back and reevaluate that so you can, find whatever you need to avoid that going into the next season?
So sometimes it incorporates, you got to change up your routine a little bit, start off the season hot, but once you feel like you're getting complacent, you got to switch it up, turn it up a notch. So I'm looking forward, and I got some goals this year, turn it up a notch once we hit the middle, and just keep getting better throughout the season.
Can you share any of those goals?
Yeah.
Can you share any of those goals?
Huh?
Can you share any of those goals?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Can you share them? Can you tell us about the goals? Or you got to keep that?
We're going to keep it under the weather. Can't tell you all the secrets. Come on now.
I thought you was going to share them, brother. The man said, could you share them? He says, now, Carl, I'll tell you, I can guess at one of them. I promise you. Carl Granderson wants to lead the NFL in sacks. That might be one of them right there. If you're a defensive end, and one of the things you want to do is at least get lead the NFL in sacks. Wouldn't that be cool? For Carl to get that would be cool, man. That got to be one of the goals.
Who's like your focus this offseason in training? I know you've added a lot of weight since you've joined. Did you continue with that, or?
Yeah, I've been solid. I've been consistent right now. Just over the last couple of years, it was finding my weight range, what I play best at. So I found that range somewhere between 280 or 285. Try not to get below 275. So, like I said, that just comes throughout the season is being consistent. So, last year I started off probably 283 and I finished in the low 70s. So, this year, I got a chef, Chef Ash. Y'all got to check her out on IG, A Taste of Chef Ash. And she been keeping my weight on, staying breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm looking forward to this season because I'm going to have it the whole year.
All right, so that Curl got paid. Curl got him a chef. That's what I'm talking about, Curl. That's a wise investment, my brother, because that's gonna get you more money, brother. Good.
As somebody who's had to add a lot of weight to their frame, like
Yeah.
how hard is that in season to keep that on when you guys are
Yeah.
doing so much?
I mean, it's very hard, but that's part of being a professional athlete. It's real hard. So especially when you go from being a practice squad and special teams to being a starter, you're getting way more reps, probably 50 plays a game. You sweating more, and you just gotta maintain and be a pro. So for me, it was really hard because I'm gonna go 110% every play, and I sweat a lot, so I could lose probably 10 pounds of practice. And if I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do off the field and recovering, then it's just gonna continue to go down. So I got a plan this upcoming season, and I'm ready to go.
When you were talking about like sense of urgency, it's like team wide, right? And
Yeah.
And that's related to kind of how last year went and some of this. We hear talk after the season about wanting the culture to be right. Like how do you see that now compared to what it was?
I mean, it's the little things. A sense of urgency, like the little things. Everyone showing up to OTAs. It starts off there. So we got a lot of guys that showed up this year, OTAs. We almost got everybody. I believe probably 95%. So we just focusing on building a team chemistry, a team bonding right now, and just coming together as a family. So during the season, it take care of itself, and we got each other back.
All right, that's Curl Granderson, fam, dropping some game right there. And Curl said he got goals. He got a plan. Curl got a plan, man. And listen, Curl he's a future of the defensive end position for the Saints. He got the contract. Cam, is on the back end of his career. Chase Young is on a 1-year deal. Got Peyton Turner that's not looking too good, and Isaiah Foskey. Speaking of which, he's next.
Try to approach this.
I feel like going into the second year, just like a lot more confidence in the game plan, knowing the plays, and just like the main thing was just like confidence in it, and just working with all my off-season coaches and getting my speed right, working with TG throughout the off-season, telling me what I need to work on, coming back and just proving what I can do.
What were some of those things that they encouraged you to either work on or focus on? Or?
Pretty much, like you guys been hearing like from DA, just pretty much just go, and that was just like I guess like a mental block for myself, just go. That's what I was just really working on. First few steps getting up the field with TG was telling me striking, really commit to the Patriots move. That's all the stuff I've been working on.
Like, can you tell in real time, like last season, that you were maybe hesitant on a few plays, or is it looking back? Or okay.
I definitely was a little hesitant looking back from last year, and I feel like that was just like me just trying not to make a mistake. But now I'm just pretty much going full speed.
Yeah, DA's used the phrase to play free.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I feel like playing free is just playing with confidence, playing with that little swagger. And I feel like that's why I finally got back throughout those OTAs.
Got back. So is that something you felt like you had, like, was last year a little challenging on you?
Yeah, I would say that just coming into the NFL, I feel like I didn't get a good grasp of it going into like the rookie year, and then I don't know. I feel like from there it's just like a downfall towards at the end of it.
What did you learn just about like yourself going through that process?
I just need to trust that I can do what I can do. Just not really get outside of what I can't do or what I can do. Like really just trust in what I can do. Patriots move. I know I'm strong enough. I know I'm fast enough. I know I'm quick enough, and just trust it.
Have you changed anything with your body from last year to this year?
Body-wise, no. I just pretty much just got stronger. That was like the main focus throughout the offseason, just getting stronger.
Without Cam and Chase on the field right now, it's giving you more reps, more opportunities. How valuable is that for you?
Oh yeah, I love that. Even though I like to like see Cam on the field or Chase on the field, but for me, I just take the opportunity of the plays.
What for last year, like, what was it about the NFL that really kind of surprised you or contributed to that learning curve that you're talking about?
I felt it was just like learning the whole playbook, and I felt it was just like in my own head, just trying not to make a mistake. And then that was just throughout the whole entire year, just in my head, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. But now I got the whole defense under 1 year, going full speed, it just helped a lot.
And there was a stretch last year where you were hurt for a bit, but then when you came back, it was like a pretty big moment. Cam was hurt, like you kind of had some opportunity there. Did you maybe let it get to your head of like, all right, here's my chance, and overthought it maybe? Or I don't know.
I felt like a little bit, yeah, but it was also, that was like a little learning curve too, like really trying to take care of my body, make sure I'm available to play in those games. But that was like a little learning curve that I just had to learn pretty much like the hard way.
All right, so there you go, fam. That's all of the Saints, man. Very interesting. And you heard Isaiah Foskey, man, basically telling you that you know, last year he was being really overly cautious. He didn't want to make a mistake here or there. And this year, man, the Saints, man, they're loaded up at the defensive end position. What we just seen Granderson, the starter. Yeah, eventually Chase Young makes it to being the opposite end with Cam Jordan there, and then you get to Peyton Turner, then Isaiah Foskey, depending how it goes. So the defensive end position is deep. So the Saints have a lot of depth right there, but you kind of can slide Cam around and use him inside if you need to slide him on inside on certain packages. But like I said, Isaiah Foskey, man. He's kind of a future dude looking at, so we'll see how he looks. As he talked about just getting stronger, working on your technique, getting stronger is one of the things. Like I said, Isaiah Foskey has talent. When he came out of Notre Dame, he was a guy that was looked at as a pure pass rusher. So getting strong and getting the movements down and everything, that's going to be something you look at, because he's definitely one of the future guys of the team. You got Cam on a 2-year deal. You got Chase Young on a 1-year deal. Then Peyton Turner, got what he got going on. And Peyton Turner, they about to put up a shut up for him. And then Isaiah Foskey, the second-round pick from last year, he may have an opportunity to kind of work his way up into a position where he might, if he gets good enough, be able to be sitting opposite of Carl Granderson. So, I mean, that seems like a future thing for him, because, like I said, the Saints have a lot of talent at the defensive end position, a lot of talent, a lot of versatility. All right. Yeah, that's right, Derek. He was projected as a first round. The Saints landed him in the second round, man. Not a bad idea at all. KT says Chase Young is this generation's Jadeveon Clowney. All the physical talent, but can't never put it together, Q. Yeah, he was when the Saints signed him, man, that kind of stole some luster off of it, didn't it? People were excited about it. It was a splash signing to a degree, and then a day, I think it was the next day or the day after that, he's having neck surgery, which is a pretty big thing in my book. You having neck surgery, that ties to your back. So I don't know how readily or when Chase Young is supposed to make it back, but they're probably going to take their time with that guy. I mean, you don't want to rush him out of there with that serious of an injury. So yeah. Tim says Flopsky was so. And he said Flopsky was so, you mean unimpressive, huh? They signed Chase Young. I got you, Tim. All right, so yeah, man. Very interesting groups of interviews today by the Saints on OTAs, man, as they get ready. They kind of head on about this thing, man. They get next, who was it? Coming up June, I think, June the 13th. Hold on, let me see if the Saints is. Yeah, June 11th through the 13th, June 3rd through the 6th for the Saints, and then June 11th through the 13th next week. You got the voluntary set of practices they're going to set off. So we should see Elvin, we should see Marshawn, we should see some of those guys. All, majority of the guys, if they're healthy, they should be there for the next voluntary, involuntary. Was it involuntary? Mandatory. Let's just say mandatory. I'm a little tired, fam. Mandatory practices coming up next week, man. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that, man. So with that being said, fam, listen, man, I'm gonna get out on that. Listen, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in tonight. Much love to all you guys. Do me a service, man. If you enjoyed the stream, please feel free to hit the like button, fam. If you're listening on X, hit the retweet button or the re-X button, whatever you want to call it, hit it. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitch, all of the platforms we're going across. Shout out to the Graham fam listening. That cat State of the Pels, Frosty 504, and others. Big ups to you guys for chiming in from the Graham. Big ups to you guys. Thank y'all for chiming in. Listen, I'm gonna be back on Thursday to talk about more Saints topics and other stuff, man. So like I said, man, a lot of positive stuff going on, and like I said, it's still very early, but like I said, the Kubiak offense, man, it could be very promising, man. We just got to make sure they stay on code, attention to detail, and accountability. Those are the buzzwords of this offseason, obviously. All right, so I'm out of here, man. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love. And who that to you.
Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and